Hey kids, welcome to Glen's Drum Emporium. It's a beautiful day. It's like 300 degrees. We are working in the garage on some drums. We have a Christmas kit in the back going out today, 6:30, to a young 11-year-old girl starting into the drums. This used to be a kit of mine. It was beautiful, it was mint, and I sold it to somebody who destroyed it. So I got parts of it back. The kick drum is long gone. So I'm going to make that into another kit. These are all drums I've picked up for myself and Christmas cheer kits. I made a whole purchase from the armories. So these were Orphan drums, not complete kits. So we have a 1960s Ludwig club drum set. This has all the lugs and the rims. This was a wrap finish. Somebody peeled it off and painted it and basically ruined it. Actually, the same guy that ruined that one. I hate people who do this. This was a collector piece, and now it's got to be totally restored. So, anyway, so that's a 60s Ludwig club kit. This is 1966. The lugs are similar to this. This is 1968. That is 60s also. This one, I forgot what that one is. These two. But everything here is Ludwig except for that bass drum. That bass drum is Stewart. I've had a few of these white pearl Stewart kits coming through. This is unfortunately just a kick drum and I think a tom. It's fairly yellowed. It's no longer white. This one is a 70s, early 70s Ludwig. This is ultra rare. This is a 60s Gracie bass drum. I have a Gracie snare. I also have another Gracie bass drum somewhere. I can't remember if it's that one right there. But the lugs are some of my parts stuff here. This is a Gracie bass drum lug. They are built like tanks, super thick, and they resemble Gretsch. I don't know how they didn't get sued for doing this, but these weigh a ton. So these are spacers. The reason why they have spacers is because of the bass drum hoops and the lugs. They want the T-rods to be kind of at the same height to thread in. If you didn't have these, they would be downwards and cause stress on the lugs. So anyways, I have two Gracie kick drums. I'm looking for a Gracie floor tom and tom. Not sure if I'll find it. This is a Crown Stewart kit. They call them MIJ kits, made in Japan. They were similar types of kits, mass produced by just 3 or 4 companies in the 60s and early 70s, and actually a little bit in the 50s, I found out too. And they just stuck different badge names on it. Certain companies would say, we want our own brand name on these, and they would just do it. It was like an extra cost, and they would just put it on. That's a Hoshino kit, Tom right here. This one right here. This is old 70s, early 70s. I used to have the full kit of this. I think all I have left, I do have a 12. The bass or the floor tom got crushed, and I do have a bass drum left, so we'll get that one kicked back into gear. So there's going to be a couple of kits in here of these Japanese ones. These Stewarts will go for Christmas cheer, but the Gracie, I'm keeping the Gracie just because of its rarity. Gracie was its own company. Even though it resembles this made in Japan stuff and it was all in the same wave, they were their own company. It's hard to find info on them, but there are ads. This bass drum has been through the war. I'm going to see if I can salvage it. But look at the floor tom, or bass drum spurs. So they have Gretsch looking lugs and these type of spurs, which are unusual. I do have the legs. So that's Stewart. This is Stewart's or Crown or Coronet. Usually the Stewart type. They went 6 lugs on each side of the bass drum, and as you went up the ladder, and some of these Japanese kits, they went 8. Hoshino's actually went 10, and they actually went maple shell. A lot of people don't know that Hoshino was starting to be a contender in the late 70s with full maple shells. So anyways, these drums here, they were rewrapped because there is air holes inside, and they were covered up. But the date codes are still plain to see in there. This is all original, all original, all original, all original. These are all original. Like I say, I do have a bass drum from 1970 that I'm going to put with this. It's very hard to find like the club kits from the 60s, individual drums. So I do have the floor tom brackets. They are a different thumb type with a spring. My WFL kit has similar. I believe I'm missing one though, which will be almost impossible to find. As you can see, these have the white interior, but I think somebody painted these, because normally you would have a date code stamped on the inside, and this is the wrong color. I could be wrong. It just could be that these were in a smoke-filled house. I'll know when I clean them, and maybe the date code will show up. But there are no badges with this kit, but I do know they are a Ludwig club kit. So we're going to redo these, and I would like to incorporate that 60s drum with this. Now these are 14 and a 12, but everything else is kind of weird sizes. So this is a 15, 15, 15, 17, 13, and 15. So that 17 would make an interesting bass drum for this. I have to look and see if I can find 17-inch hoops. That would probably be a long shot. They would be custom, because as far as I know, Ludwig never made a 17-inch bass drum. But I tried it as a kick just the way it is, and it's got quite the thunder to it. And the inside of this drum is mint. That's the original finish. So I would like to do blue on these and kind of match them all up, if that's going to be the bass drum. But I do have a 20-inch bass drum, 1970, with the finish peeled off, that was kind of a wrecked blue metallic finish. And we have more drums down here. Like, the garage is full of band gear and my exercise equipment. I can't move in here, so some of this band gear is going bye-bye. This is a pyramid drum. I've got the kick drum here. I have all the hardware. Pyramid's another one of those rare companies that were part of the Stencil MIJ kits. But these were built slightly different mahogany with the triple reinforcing hoops. So, and we have definitely more drums down in the back here. We're always working on drums. This is that other Ludwig kit. This is 70s. This is all heavy glue on here. This has to all come off. This is a quarter drum. It should be acrylic. Somebody painted it and ruined it. I haven't found a simple method to get the paint off of this. I've been trying different chemicals without ruining the acrylic. So as you can see, just doing this took me days just to get that far. This is a fibes floor tom. Quarter and fibes go together. Started off as fibes, went to quarter, then went to Darwin drums. The company was bought 3 times and then went under. This is the first series of fibes. It's what I want. I'm trying to find a kick drum and a tom to match, but I'll settle for this tom if I have to. I have all the lugs for it, but I'm trying to find a kick drum and a snare drum. Snare drums are not cheap for fibes. And this is a stockpile of some of the stuff. As you can see, stockpile of drums. There's another vintage bass drum. That one's either a 20 or an 18. I have 2 of those. Those are early Slingerlands. That tom is a Keller, newer. Back over here there's Premier, and those 2 tom or bass drums are actually Leedy, and they are calfskin. They're all from 1935. I have I think 6 of those in my collection. And then we have some up in the top. That's a, I believe that one is a cornet. And then we have some vintage marching drums by Premier. One thing about marching drums, you can convert them into floor toms and they sound fantastic. So if you don't like the marching drum thing, turn them into floor toms. You don't have to wreck anything unless they have a snare bed. Then you have to file them the one side flush on the bearing edges. But most of those old ones don't have that. So anyways, yeah, lots of stuff's going to the dump in here. It's spring cleanup time, and my band's got lots of gear in here, and that's got to get out here. So because I need this work area. But for now, I have my workshop in the basement that I'm doing a lot of the stuff. So these are up in my storage loft. There's more drums up there too, but these are the Orphan ones that are going to be made into kits. So if I could find a 70s bass drum and with these lugs, I do have some lugs. I could probably buy the shell, a brand new shell, and just adapt it, but I really want the old school Ludwig vibe and a tom to go with it. I've got a bunch of Ludwig snares, so that's where we're at. Long video, but that's where we're at. Thanks for watching.